telescope is an extension of its owner that allows us to peer into the universe to see nature on the grandest scale, with wonders that boggle the imagination. Okay, this is a Galaxy log for April 29th, 2022. And it's subtitled, "My God, It's Full of Galaxies," meaning the spring sky. It's like there's so many galaxies to choose from and to view. I mean, you just go through the Virgo cluster and you can just you can actually go galaxy hopping, not star hopping, but actually galaxy hopping to each galaxy. So, but yeah, it's my favorite time of the year, obviously, and I was able to get a pretty good night, actually a really good night on the 29th from my darkest local site with 2 telescopes. So the first galaxy we're going to go to is in Ursa Major. It's NGC 3683. And you can see it's within the bowl of the Big Dipper here from Stellarium Web. Here's a closer-up view of where the galaxy lies. Fairly easy to find. First thing I did was I took the 10mm eyepiece and 120 magnification, and there's a couple other galaxies in the field. And to the west is 3674, which is right here, and then to the northeast you have 3683A, which is right here. These 2 galaxies I'll talk about some other time in another galaxy log, but we're going to concentrate more on 3683 right here, which I found was a fascinating galaxy. So I inserted a 5mm eyepiece. So here's the particulars. It's at 12.5 magnitude, it's 12.6 surface brightness. They're small. These are small galaxies. So that's SB type, and here's its distance at 82 million light years. Scope is the 12-inch f4. Is the eyepiece, 5mm, gave me 240 magnification. Sky conditions were good. There was the scene was really good that night. Transparency was just a little off, but not too bad. It wasn't too bad. So I got some pretty good views. Here's the galaxy here, and it's kind of an edge-on or a spiral. And what I found interesting in viewing this galaxy, that the northwest portion of the galaxy seemed to have more of a bulge. There was a little bit where the southeast part of the galaxy seemed to taper more. And so it was interesting that writing that in my notes and then looking at a photograph the next day or so, you could see where the galaxy to the northwest is slightly more of a bulge to it. And then the southeast, it definitely has more of a taper to it. So I was seeing some photographic detail. But yeah, it's a nice galaxy. It's the brightest of the 3 galaxies that were in that field. So I chose this one to view first, and then in other galaxy logs I'll do the other 2. But yeah, this was a really nice view. Because the surface brightness is pretty good. Even though it's small, it'll take some really good magnification with a mid-size or larger telescope. So you can actually push the magnification. I probably have pushed the magnification even more here, but yeah, I thought that this view here was really a nice view. Okay, next we'll stay in the Ursa Major, and actually not too far away from the previous galaxy. It's NGC 3953. And here's where it's located. There's a closer up view from Stellarium Web of the Galaxies. And you can see M109 is right down here. These two kind of compete against each other in a way. And I will do 109 in an upcoming Galaxy log. What we're going to do, it's close by neighbor here, NGC 3953. So here are the particulars. It's a very bright galaxy. It's 10th magnitude, 10.1. Surface brightness is not too bad. It's a good sized galaxy. Here's its type, and it's 50 million light years away. And for this near view image, I used the 8.2-inch f3.9 Dob with a coma corrector with a 7mm eyepiece that gave me 127 magnification. This was really a nice view. This is a nice galaxy. It's kind of like, it's overshadowed by the Messier galaxy, M109. But, this one here actually, I think I like it maybe a bit better. I think it's a little more concentrated towards the center and towards its outer regions than 109. So it looks a little bit brighter in smaller telescopes than 109 does. And this was really a nice view. As I said, the sky conditions were good. The scene was really good. And as I mentioned previously, the transparency was a little off, but this part of the sky, this dark side is really good. And I was viewing this when it was pretty much overhead, and so I was able to really get some nice details, a really nice view of this galaxy with this telescope. And you can see it has a very bright core area and a slight elongation to it with the bar, with a very short bar. And then the outer part of the galaxy, the inner region here of the galaxy stood out very well and very mottled looking. And then you could, when you used averted vision, you could really see it extend a lot more. And into the southern part of the core area, actually it gave me like a swirl type look. And if you look at photographs, you can actually see where it stands out a little more with the arms that kind of curving back that way. So I was kind of seeing a little bit of that detail. It gave me that appearance of that kind of detail, but it was really a nice view. I was really impressed by it. So this is a really, if you go to Messier 109, it's a good, you want to go to this galaxy also too. It's not too far away. It's and kind of make a comparison of which one you may like better. In large telescopes, very large telescopes, I kind of like 109 a little bit better. A little bit more of that bar structure I was seeing. But for smaller telescopes, I think this one stands out a little more. And this view here was really a fine view, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, next galaxy, we're staying in Ursa Major. Ursa Major has a lot of great galaxies in it. And it's NGC 3738. It's just outside the bowl of the Big Dipper. And there's a close-up view of where it lies. And here you can see it's also an ARP galaxy. It's ARP 234. Here are the particulars. It's a 11.7, so it's fairly bright. Surface brightness isn't too bad. It's small. And here's its type. So it's an unusual galaxy, and it's 12 million light years. So it's close by. It's rated as a dwarf galaxy. So it's a small galaxy. And this time is with the 12-inch f4. And this is with a 3.5mm eyepiece. It gave me a high power 343 magnification. I found this a very interesting galaxy to view. It looked, when I found the galaxy using a low power eyepiece, you could see it had like an unusual look to it. And kind of looked like it kind of looked to me, something like the Crab Nebula a little bit, which was kind of weird, but it just has this very weird looking shape for a galaxy. So I started pushing the magnification more. I had a I had an 8mm eyepiece in, and that looked really good. Then the 5mm eyepiece, and that really looked good. But I said, you know what, this thing can take more magnification just to bring out some more detail, because it is small. So that's why I put the 3.5mm in, and I thought it was definitely the best view. And there's no real like core to it. It was just this big patch, and it kind of like fanned a little more to the east southeast, and then there was kind of some brighter patches here to the west side, or to the northwest side. You know, it was definitely modeled, but it's just an unusual galaxy. And if you look at photographs of it, you can see it's very unusual, and hence it's an ARP. So it has this unusual look to it. But this was really a really one of my favorite views of the night, because it is a close by galaxy, and it is has a definitely kind of a regular look to it, and you can see that detail, and you can really play with magnification with it, depending on your scope and your sky conditions. But yeah, this was definitely, and it's a nice field of stars around it that also enhances the view. So I recommend this galaxy. You know, at 11.7, you could probably, you know, I could probably put in the 8.2 inch on it and still got a pretty decent view with it. So you can see it in smaller telescopes, but with the 12 inch, it really brought out some neat detail and gave me a pretty neat view of a galaxy that I never have any notes of seeing this before. I don't know why, but I just don't. I probably have, just don't have any notes on it from the past. So I was glad I definitely went for it, and it's an interesting galaxy for this galaxy log. Okay, our next galaxy is NGC 4419, which is in Coma Berenices. It's right on the border, actually, of Coma and Virgo, and it is part of the Virgo cluster of galaxies. It's where the galaxy lies. As you can see, it is on the border of Virgo and Coma. Here's a closer up view from Stellarium Web of where the galaxy lies. And here's the near view image. You can see by the particulars, it's a fairly bright galaxy. It's 11.2 with surface brightness is nice and high at 12.4. Here's its size, decent size, its type. And here's its distance of 56 million light years, which definitely puts it within the Virgo cluster. The telescope was the 8.2 inch f3.9 Dob. And the eyepiece is 7mm, gave me 127 magnification. It was a nice view. This is a galaxy, I think, that can be seen in smaller telescopes than the 8 inch. In fact, probably next time I'm out with the 120 Apo, I want to see what I can also get with the Apo. But yeah, this was a really nice view. Very elongated galaxy. It's not real thin. Showed a little stellar nucleus to it, and its inner region here was fairly bright, and then with the vertivision, it extended very well. It was a really nice galaxy to view. And when you're in this region of the sky, there's so many galaxies you can go for, and this I had on a list a while ago, so I figured, what the heck, it's a nice, really nice night, and I was headed in with both scopes into the Virgo cluster anyway. Actually, for my next view, it's not too far from where I was taking the 12 inch to, which will be coming up in the next near view. And I thought, hey, this is a nice galaxy to view, and it gave me a really nice, pleasant surprise of how well it stood out. But like I said, if you look at it, it's fairly bright, 11.2, and good surface brightness. So if you have good skies, even a smaller telescope, you should get a pretty decent view of this galaxy. Next, we're staying in course, like I mentioned, about both scopes. We're in the Virgo cluster, so we went to M60 with NGC 4647 and a little bit of a treat. And here where the galaxies are located, in the northern portion of Virgo. There's a closer up view from Stellarium Web of where the galaxies are located. A lot of galaxies in this region, of course. And here's the near view image. And as you can see, I have here M60 and NGC 4647 with 2022 HRS, which is a supernova. First, let's talk about the particulars. Here's M60, and it's a bright galaxy at 8.8 magnitude, fairly high surface brightness, decent size. It's an elliptical galaxy, and here's its distance. NGC 4647 is a spiral. It's not too bad as far as a magnitude, a little bit lower surface brightness. Here, its size is fairly small. Here's its type, SAB. It's out a little farther than M60, and here's the supernova and its magnitude that night. Now, I was looking at this pair and with the supernova with lower magnification eyepieces, and they all look good. 10 millimeter, 8 millimeter, 5 millimeter, and but I thought this view really stood out. It really brought the intensity of the supernova out, and so that's what I have with the 12-inch Dob. I had the 3.5 millimeter, which gave me 343 magnification. Let's talk about the galaxies first. M60, very bright, large bright inner region, and then this faint halo around it, large halo around it. Kind of reminds you of an unresolved lobular cluster. That's what it reminded me of. And then the smaller 4647 is right here. It's a face-on spiral galaxy. Has a very large, not really bright core, not really stellar nucleus to it, but you can see that core region right there. Then a faint round outer halo. And then, of course, here's the supernova. And the supernova, in a way, was kind of overwhelming. It just drew your eye. Instead of seeing the galaxy that it's in, which is 4647, of course, M60 is so bright. It definitely stands out of the three things that are here that we're looking at. But the supernova kind of really definitely overwhelms the central region of 4647. But it's a very bright supernova, and the estimate was around 12.5 that night. But yeah, it's definitely one of the brighter supernovas that I've seen in recent years, and it might be even brighter now as we're recording this. But yeah, it really stood out that night. I put the 8.2 on the galaxy pair, and it looked really good. The supernova was easy to see. You could definitely see it in smaller telescopes. But yeah, it was interesting how it just drew your eye to it being that bright near the well, not really next to the core, but not too far from 4647's core, and how it really overshadowed the galaxy itself. But yeah, it's just a really great view, and yeah, I just definitely thought that this high power view really brought out everything and for this galaxy log. Okay, here's final views of the night, which I like to do once in a while, and just stick maybe a low power eyepiece in the telescope, or in this case telescopes, and kind of sums up the night of having some really fine views of some amazing galaxies. And the first one is M106 and NGC 4248. And this is with the 8.2 inch f3.9 Dob with the coma corrector. And the eyepiece is at 12.5 millimeters, gave me 71 magnification. And this was really a nice, this galaxy is always just really a treat to look at. You can look at it in smaller telescopes, even my 4-inch refractor, my 4-inch achromat, it looks great. Even under here at home, which my skies are okay. 106 always comes through as it just looks like a galaxy. It's just really a great galaxy to view. And, at this point of the night, it was in a really good position. And with this eyepiece, it just really summed up of what galaxy is supposed to look like. And here you go. Here's 106, and here's NGC 4248 right here. And it's just put definitely a big smile on my face on how this galaxy never disappoints ever. And then in the 12-inch, figured, okay, well, I'm going to go back to the Supernova and use the 16 millimeter eyepiece of 75 magnification and get some of the other galaxies that are around it. So there's an annotated view that I have, and here's M60, here's 4647. This is a true view. And M59 is right over here, and a smaller NGC 4638 is right here. You can see where the supernova is. This was really, I actually had problems pulling myself away from this final view. I knew it was time to pack up and get home. And it's a little over an hour drive home, and so I had to pack up both telescopes and all the eyepieces and everything, and for the drive home. But it was, like I said, it was hard to pull my eye away from this view. To see such a spectacular ending view, really made for the drive home. You really get, your adrenaline's really flowing and like that, and you're thinking about all those great views you had. And this was a great way to wrap up a really great night with a lot of galaxies. And hopefully the May dark window will allow me to get into many more galaxies are out there before the spring sky goes away. Okay, this is a summary of this galaxy log. First, talk about the dark site. This is, as I mentioned in the galaxy log, this is my darkest local site, meaning that I could observe one night and still go home without having to sleep over. And it's a good site. It has nice elevation. Here's Google Earth at night, and shows you it's not too bad. It's pretty dark, and the elevation is 1,750 feet, which is pretty high for that area. The telescopes I had set up that night was the Orion Optics UK 12-inch f4 and a Bresser 8.2-inch f3.9 Dob on an Astro Goods mount. This, it's funny. I had the night before, this was a Friday night. Thursday night, I actually took the Bresser up to a closer dark site. It's about a half-hour drive. One I use in some other galaxy logs. And it was supposed to be, my plan was, it looked like weather-wise, it was going to be better on Friday night. So, but I wanted to make sure I get at least one night out just in case. You never know here in the Northeast that, things could crap out really quickly. So I did take the Bresser up to the closer site on Thursday. And the sky conditions, even though we're supposed to be really, really good, good transparency and so on, it wasn't. And the reason was because the smoke from the forest fires out in the southwest. So there was some smoke in the air, and it was definitely degraded transparency. So I didn't stay long, maybe a couple hours, and that was it. And made sure I got good rest for Friday night. And Friday night, which this photograph was taken of the two scopes at the darker site, turned out to be pretty good. There might have been a little bit, like I said, it was good. as far as the sky conditions, not excellent, not very good. It was kind of good to very good, kind of like it kind of fluctuated a little bit, but most of the time it was good. As I mentioned, the seeing was it was actually really good. Transparency was just off a little bit, but not too bad. It was still pretty good. Scopes themselves, the Orion Optics UK 12-inch is just a wonderful telescope. I really enjoy using this telescope. Really fine optics. You can really push magnification with it. It's just has become a favorite of mine. And the Bresser is actually really good. Again, it's kind of a hybrid where a lot of people use this type of telescope for astrophotography, and I've seen astrophotos taken with this telescope, this type of telescope, and amazing photos. But I'm not an astrophotographer. I'm completely 100% visual. Just wanted a nice compact telescope. I used to have it on a go-to mount, and I wanted to turn it into a Dob, so I contacted Astro Goods, and they created this Dob mount for me, which turns out really well. It really works really well. Optically, this telescope is really good. Now, the secondary mount, the central obstruction, is a little large compared to a normal 8-inch reflector, but it's not too bad. It does really well. Really brings in some really nice views through the eyepiece. So I'm very impressed by this telescope. And what's really nice is that both telescopes are easy to set up. In fact, it takes me longer to put the eyepieces away in the eyepiece cases and all the other accessories, whether it's charts and stuff on, than it does to put the telescopes back in the van. So that's another thing. It's ease of use has become a big deal. As far as eyepieces, for the NGC 3683 area, that wide field view, was the Pentax 10mm XW, which is a tremendous eyepiece. For the closer up view, or zoomed in view of NGC 3683, was the APM XWA 5mm, and wonderful eyepiece, really wonderful eyepiece, really like it a lot. And then for that I was using mostly in the Bresser was the Celestron 7mm XL LX eyepieces for NGC 3953 and NGC 4419. For NGC 3738 and M60 NGC 4647 with the Supernova was the APM XWA 3.5mm 110-degree field eyepiece, another super eyepiece. These APMs are really great eyepieces if you want to go into the 100-degree plus type eyepieces. And for final view of with M106 through the 8.2 is the Baader Morpheus 12.5mm. Really like these eyepieces. They become a favorite. It's funny, I have the 6.5. I didn't use it that night. I just wanted to use some other eyepieces that I have for this night, and but yeah, this is a really good eyepiece. This was my first Morpheus, and I really like it, and it gave a spectacular view, a final view through the Bresser of M106. And then for the M60 area, a final view through the 12-inch was the Explore Scientific 16mm 68-degree field eyepiece. Really, another really nice eyepiece that I'm very much impressed by. So that's it for this Galaxy log. Clear dark skies and happy galaxy observing.